Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. This is Elizabeth Deal, the Chief Program Officer at the Early Learning Coalition in Marion County. And I'm going to let our team, if you can hear us, can you type in the chat box that you can hear, please?
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to be quiet and let our staff introduce themselves.
This is Scott Stevenson, Quality Initiatives Director.
This is Marcy Easter, Business Information Director.
And I'm Liliana Howard, and I work in professional development and quality.
So good afternoon, everybody. We're going to jump right into this meeting. We thank you again for joining us on such short notice. This is a super important topic. This is all about extending your current school readiness provider contract. And you can probably tell that we put this together pretty quickly because my agenda that I typed has a couple of typos on it, just some spacing issues, and the telling you that our next provider meeting will be held on 6:30. But we are trying to keep you in the loop with everything that's happening and all the changes, and just moving forward with this fiscal year. So that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Scott.
Thank you. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Like she said, it is a very important meeting, and this just came to our attention late last week, so we wanted to get this out to you all as soon as we possibly could. Basically, if you're on this call and you have a school readiness contract with us for 1920, and you plan to continue to contract with us beyond June 30th, which is just around the corner, then this is the extension that you would need to sign in order to do that, to maintain your contract. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually maybe jump around just a little bit on the agenda. I'm going to start real quick on the second bullet of the agenda, which says provider profiles. So for that, this is something that we need every provider to get done. And if I'm not mistaken, we only have, I think, 4 providers left who have not yet gone in to update their 2021 profile, and we've been able to approve it on our end. So if you have not done that yet, and you're one of those providers, please make that a priority because we won't be able to move forward with any new contracts for you until that's done.
Can we pause for just a second? We are having some people that are logged in that can't hear us. So I'm asking them to try logging out and coming back in, but we're checking our settings really quickly.
So let's give them a minute to get that done, and we'll be right back.
Thank you. Hold tight, everybody. Okay.
All right, thank you everyone for holding. Hopefully we got those resolved. So again, just if you have not done your 2021 profile, please make that a priority and get that done in the portal. So you should have received an email from Elizabeth on Saturday and today, both with the contract extension attached. So hopefully you had a chance to look at that and review it. Basically, the contract, well, first of all, the reason all this is happening, as I'm sure you all know, is because of the pandemic. And primarily, as part of your SR contract, you're required to have a class observation. Well, only about a quarter of you had that done in the spring, so that remains or leaves you about 3/4 of you who have not yet had one. So that is a requirement of your contract. So in order to get those done, the contract, of course, is having to be extended. And we're also waiting on OEL to release the 2021 contract in EFS Mod for us to execute. So that has not yet been done, but it should be done here in the next couple weeks. So I'm just going to go through the contract with everybody rather quickly. So I'll ask Marcy if she can maybe get that up on the screen, the contract. Can you pull up the contract?
They just go to the audio.
We're trying to help a few people that are still having issues hearing us today.
Give us just a minute, folks.
I am going to send those people the call-in number.
You should have it on their screen.
Okay, it should be on your screen, but if you can't hear us, you wouldn't hear me saying that to you. So, all right.
Judy got it, so.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for holding on. So on the front there, where right here, it's going to ask you to put your provider name in there. So it's really important that you put your legal name in that space. So whatever you file your taxes under, whatever's currently on your SR contract, that would be the area to put that in. So your legal name only, okay? So again, the first part there where it says purpose, that's just saying, you know, about COVID and why we're having to do this. And this is a statewide initiative, so of course we're not the only ones. All coalitions across the state are having to do this. The parts you want to pay attention to start at the bottom of page 1, where it says program assessment number 1. So essentially, it divides everybody up into really kind of 2 categories. The first category is if you were not able to have a class observation done, and again, that is the majority of you. So going on to, let me try to scroll down. Okay. So we're going to scroll down and look at the top of page 2. And really, it's just saying that the providers agree to cooperate with the coalition in rescheduling your observation. There it is. Thank you. Perfect. So if you have not yet received one, you're going to fall into one of those 4 bullets right there. And then it goes on to say at the bottom of page 2, if you had a program assessment, then you're going to fall into one of those next bullets. I believe everyone that we've done so far fell into that first bullet of meeting the threshold. We only maybe had one that's going to require a quality improvement plan. And then number 2 at the bottom of page 3 talks about your quality improvement plan. So again, this does not apply to most of you. We only had, I think, 4 or 5 quality improvement plans from last year. We had 5. So if that did not get completed, it gives you a 6-month extension to get that done. And then number 3 on page 4 really just goes into what I was just saying about your 2021 profile and how those need to be done as soon as possible. So Elizabeth sent you a couple emails with this attached. I sent out emails this morning. I just finished sending them maybe 45 minutes ago. So the email that you want to look for and pay attention to, and this is really, really important, will either come from, it's going to come from Adobe or from Marcy's email. So be on the lookout for that one. It was sent this morning, really between 9:30 and 12:30. So when you receive that, this is the document we need you to electronically sign. There'll be a space for you to do that, and really you just follow the prompts and fill in the blanks. You'll have to sign, print your name, put your title in, and then date the form, and then you will submit it. So when you submit it, it's going to go straight to Roseanne, the CEO, for her signature. And all of this has to be done by June 30th. So if you can, go into your email. It'll take you probably less than 2 minutes to get done. But there is a very tight turnaround on this. So we ask that you check your email and get that signed and get back as soon as you possibly can.
We pause and see if we have any questions.
Yeah.
This is a pretty simple format, and this is going to lead us into next fiscal year without disruption to your program. So it's really, really important that you get this done. And let's see if we have any questions so far. Marcy's saying no, not yet. As soon as I say no, one will pop up. No?
No.
Okay. Well, please, I've been answering emails back as people are sending in emails over to me about not being able to hear and stuff. So if you are experiencing any issue with the form that Scott sent you, please you can reach out to him directly, you can reach out to me directly, you can reach any of our quality team if you need help filling this out. But it's pretty straightforward. You just want to ensure that you do put your legal operating name in there, and then there's little boxes underneath your signature line. You're going to put by electronic signature.
Okay. Someone, I'll step in. Sorry, thank you. So someone just sent a question that says this was emailed last week. There was a sample of it emailed last week. You didn't see it?
I didn't send a sample. I sent the entire document.
Okay. The entire document. I'm using it as a sample because it's not the one we want you to fill out.
Right. So it was a sample. It's the same document that you're electronically completing.
Yes. So today you should have received an email that when it clicks in there, it's requesting for your signature. That is the one that we need for you to complete. It's the one you received today. If you have not received it, like we said, it'll be in Adobe, a DocuSign, and it should come from either M. West or M. Easter. But if you did not receive that, also check your spam to make sure. Send Scott an email and he will get it out to you, because maybe it went to a different email that isn't the one you may use all the time.
So if you don't have this in your email, you want to double check and do it pretty quickly. Of course, if we don't hear from you, and if you are not interested in carrying your contract past June 30th, we need to know that in writing as well. We don't have very many of you that have decided not to continue on, but so far I have received the written submission from a provider who is interested in stopping their school readiness contract. So if you are not interested in continuing to be contracted with us, you need to let us know in writing, and you can do that through email to me or to Scott, and we will follow the correct protocol of letting your contract expire on June 30th. So just to reiterate, if we do not get your signed document back, your contract will expire on June 30th, and that means your school readiness program will be over until you re-enter into a contract with us. It would no longer be an extension. You would have to wait for the new contract to be released if you allow this to lapse, which is why we jumped on the opportunity to get this out to you now. June 30th is a week from now. So it allows our team and your sites to have ample opportunity to review this and go through it with us. Do we have any questions? Concerns? Okay.
So
go ahead.
I'm gonna jump down a little bit. I guess this would be bullet 5, and just talk a little bit for a moment about the class assessments themselves. So if you already had a class assessment, which was, I don't know, about 25 of you, and you met the threshold and there's no problems, then we're going to be executing your new 2021 contract within 30 days of OEL releasing it to us. So again, we expect them to have that out for us probably in the next 2 weeks. If you've already had your class observation, you scored well and you met the differential and you're good to go, then we will be executing your contract within the next 30 days. If you have not had your class observation, which again is the majority of you, then our quality staff will be reaching out to you very shortly to schedule those. And then upon completing them, we will have 30 days to execute your new 2021 contract after the observation has been completed. So that might raise the question for bullet number 4 about orientations, right? So unlike previous years where we've had orientation in 1 or maybe 2 days to knock them all out because we're signing contracts all on the same day at the same time, these contracts are going to be executed all at different times, right? So depending on when your class observation is complete, will determine when your orientation is going to be held. So those are going to be, for lack of a better word, kind of sporadic with the orientations, but as we complete your observations, we will be contacting you, letting you know when those orientations are going to occur. Let's pause and see if we have any questions.
We had our class observation already. Where can I go to see their results?
So yeah, you should be able to log on your in the quality performance system, the QPS system, and your score should be posted there. Now keep in mind, we did have some providers this spring who, for example, may have required 4 classroom observations and only received 2 or 3 because we had to stop doing them. Your score will not be available, your total composite score will not be posted or available until all of those classrooms have been observed.
Got a couple that have said they got the email and they went in and signed it. I'm going to reiterate, please make sure you are not hand signing these. We do have this set up that when you electronically sign it, it's going automatically over to Roseanne for her to put her signature on it, where we don't have to have a gap, where we have to stop and print it, or you guys have to take it out and sign it and scan it back and email it to us. This is all done in the Adobe DocuSign program intentionally, so it can be emailed to you, it routes to Roseanne automatically, and then back to me to be able to get this uploaded as a paper contract in your mod system. So please, please, please make sure you don't print it and sign it. You automatically go in, click the button to do the signatures through there.
We appreciate those of you that we got one back with a written signature, and we appreciate how excited you are to get this done and over with. But we will ask you to go back and go ahead and go through the email that Scott sent you and resubmit it. But thank you for being so quick. Quick Joe McGraw.
The next question is, I'm only serving first responders and want to make sure I do not need to do the class observations.
If you are intending to only temporarily contract with us for first responders, you will not need to necessarily, well, if you plan to be contracted with us after June 30th, you still need to sign this extension. But you would not require a class observation if you're going to be closing your doors by September 30th.
Well, let me add something to that.
Sure.
So the September 30th deadline is for our curriculum. And for the class observations, if you're not serving more than 20% school readiness, then you would be exempt from it. So if you plan to continue to only serve first responders, as long as your total enrollment of school readiness students is not more than 20% of your overall enrollment, then you would not require a class observation.
Is there individual feedback included on how we can improve our class score?
Lily's going to talk about that for a second. Go ahead, Lily.
So if you've had previous class observations, I can give you access to the assessments that were done if you still have the same teachers. And you can, I can give you Teachstone subscriptions that your teachers can go in and take training on the different dimensions that are mentioned in class, the different types of interactions that are expected between teachers and students. And that is all free. I can do that for you guys. I just need an email and a first and last name and a valid email address.
And that is a really good way of improving your quality by using that feedback that's on those reports and the things that Lily can support you with and the different tools that we have. It's a really good way of addressing different ways of improving quality with your teachers, because this is all about that human-to-human contact. It's all about how they're talking with their students and the children and how they're getting the children to engage back with them.
Okay, the next question is, besides the providers who have had observations in the spring, are there any providers who were not required to have a classroom observation?
Just the ones who are exempt, who did not have the 20% school readiness enrollment, and those who, yeah, that's it.
We had all the observations completed. We were only required to have 3, but the scores are still not showing for this year. Only last year showed.
That would be correct. Until we can get all of those observations done, we have to double check and make sure that different classrooms weren't perhaps chosen and in the process. And if you want to email me, I can research that for you.
Yeah, what we found in the spring is on just a few providers, maybe 2 or 3. Unfortunately, when we contracted out to have these done by the Children's Forum, there might have been a couple classrooms that were selected that should not have been done. So in other words, if you only required 3 of your classrooms to be observed out of 5, maybe they did 3 of them, but one of them was an incorrect room. So we have to go back and select the one that Wells has randomly selected for us.
This is also really important for you all to make sure that your teacher listings and
Your registration.
the registration is correct. And we talked a lot over last year, actually, in the fall when we had our face-to-face meetings. We used to talk a lot about updating your rosters regularly, at least monthly. And this is where that becomes really important, is for the system to be able to choose those classrooms and to ensure that when the observers get to your site that they can complete it for you on that first visit and get everything taken care of right then.
The next question is, if we scored high enough on the class observations last year and were told we would not get an observation this year, is that still the case?
Yes, if you were a biennial provider and you scored high enough to only be required to have it done every other year, then yeah, you would have skipped this year and you would not have one required to be done until next spring.
And that score was 5.0.
Also, I just wanted to say, as we reach out to everybody to get these scheduled, just to touch on what Elizabeth just said, part of the process will be you will have to register your classrooms in QPS, and that will determine which randomly selected classrooms Wells is going to pick. But as we get to that point, when that time comes, our staff is going to be reaching out to you, and they can help walk you through that process before we come out to observe.
Feels like we're getting back to somewhat normal, everybody. We're doing our class visits. We'll get to see you, and it's going to be exciting. Of course, we'll continue to be masked and wear our PPE protection as we start these things. And we will definitely respect your processes for remaining safe and clean during this, as we start to go through this process again. Our team is extremely aware of the safety protocols and are looking forward to interacting with you face to face again. Is there any other questions right now?
There is no additional questions. If you have sent an email that you need the Adobe signed, sent back out again, yes, bear with us. After we get off this call, we'll get those sent back out. But I thank you for the 20 plus that have gone in and signed it while we've been on this call.
Woo! See, we timed our provider appreciation packages the right way. So we sent you goodies to get you to do this really quickly. I'm just kidding. But actually, on that note, if you did receive your packages, we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback about that. If you would just send me an email stating that you got all of the materials in the package, that would be great. There is another thing on our agenda, since we don't have any questions right now, that I want to cover, and that is the third bullet down for school readiness contract amendments. As you know, we were really, and Scott talked about your provider profile for 2021 and updating that. You all have been amazing in updating all of your information quickly and getting that taken care of. I think we have 4 or 5 providers left that we're trying to assist through that process of updating. With that and this contract extension, if you changed anything in your profile, we will be initiating a contract amendment to capture any of the new changes that you made to your profile. We will most likely be initiating a contract amendment for all of you to capture any changes. So just stay tuned for that. We're going to be doing that in July. And what that does is it ensures that the system, EFS Mod, has your accurate information. So some of you may have updated your private pay rate, and we want to make sure that that's accurately reflected, even though we're not entering into your new contract just yet. We will be. And we want to make sure that information that you put in your provider profile gets to the right places in EFS Mod. So in order to do that, we'll be doing a contract amendment to capture any of those changes that happened. Let's check for questions. I see Marcy light up every time she gets an email back from your extension.
Yes, it's very exciting.
It is. Cool.
Other than it's a very much overload to my email, but my phone is sitting here going crazy, and I think it's awesome. Because we have such a short time to be able to get this completed and taken care of, and we want to make sure that we have this done for your next steps, and all of the next steps of what Elizabeth was talking about between your profiles and your amendments and your rates, and those all everything has to be completed by July 31st before you guys do that next reimbursement, because I know, believe me, I know you want to be paid correctly. That's why we are pushing this. Okay, I've got one comment and one question up on here. Can we get an update on the pilot program, please?
Pilot program. Can you be a little more specific? We have so many programs here. Give me a little more information. Are you talking PSP?
Okay, let's give her a moment to type back. Thank you, Arlene. I cannot thank ELC enough for all of the support you have given through the entire ordeal. I'm extremely grateful for you.
Thank you. We're grateful for all of you as well. Y'all have been real troopers through all of this.
Thank you, Kim, as well. She said she seconds that.
Oh.
Belinda, I'm going to actually unmute you. You are unmuted, so if you want to talk and explain what the pilot program you're asking about is.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go for it.
Okay, remember the program where the people came down from the University of Florida and did the monitoring on us a couple of years ago? I think we signed up for it. We volunteered for the first year, and then the second year it was made mandatory with our contracts. And then the lady came down from Tallahassee and did like a 4-hour monitoring in our household.
I think you're talking about the PSP program, but I'm not 100%. performance funding pilot project.
Exactly. There you go. I call it the wrong thing.
Okay.
My bad. I apologize.
No, you're good. So that program's concluded at this point, and it's kind of evolved into what we know now as the class assessments. It's turned into the quality performance system. Thank you. And it has evolved into now every provider, and you're right, it's mandatory now if you want to be a school readiness provider. But that was the lead up, you participating in that and giving your feedback and allowing those people to come into your site and watch, observe your rooms, and working through that helped create the provider assessment piece. Am I calling it? Thank you. The quality performance system. Thank you. It helped create that. So with working directly with providers, that was actually a 5-year program that led up to that creation. So that is no longer here, but now you have the class observations that occur annually or biannually, or in some cases you're exempt, but that do carry that differential payment with them now for quality performance. And that's exactly the purpose behind that. So here we are. It's in live time now, and everybody has to do it.
Oh. Okay.
Does that clear it up? They just changed the name of it because you're right, it was PFC for a couple of years, and then it went to the Performance Funding Program, and now it's QPS.
Yep.
So, okay, I'm going to put you back on mute. I have a provider that wants to know what our current office hours are and what is the process for scheduling a meeting.
Lily's going to take that one. Go ahead.
So we are open to the public on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 in the morning until 5 in the evening and afternoon. The provider workroom is available by appointment in their 1-hour intervals. You can contact myself or Tiffany Thrasher. Her extension is 249 and mine is 231 to make an appointment for the provider workroom. If you need to make an appointment for a different type of meeting, perhaps in relation to your provider profiles or something of that nature, then you would contact with Sienna or Mary according to where you're at in the alphabet.
You want to add anything to that?
No, if you need professional development help or want to set an appointment, that is, as Lily said, either Lily Howard or Tiffany Thrasher. If it's more provider relations related, like a contract question, providers on probation, something having to do with your portal, that would be Mary Brewster or Sienna McFarland. And again, I can't say this enough, Sienna is letters A through I, and Mary is J through Z.
Okay.
Okay. Could you address the process for the first responders to extend till September? I have parents telling me ELC will be sending them an email by the 30th. Will this affect the payment for July for providers?
Okay, so with the first responder program, those parents, those families that were enrolled for the time frame of April 1st to June 30th will be receiving a second referral. So we are in the process of sending that referral to the employers to get it renewed so that they get an additional 90 days. Okay, that will take them through the end of September. Those parents that have a referral starting after June 1st, we do not know yet if they will be extended at this time. No.
Sorry, I wasn't listening for a moment. I was reading.
Oh, you're good.
They will.
After June 1st, we're
July 1st.
Or no, any provide. Give me just a moment. Thank you for that moment. So basically your families, this can get really, really complicated. So we're trying to find the best way to say it out loud. Like, we know what we're thinking, but it's really hard sometimes to articulate the answers to your questions clearly. So your families, just to reiterate, your families have started or have been retroactively given service from April 1st to June 30th. They will have their referrals renewed. We're working on that process right now. The only reason why they wouldn't be renewed is because the parent did not upload forms that we need. Okay, so that's very important. The second reason it wouldn't be renewed is that we didn't get the referral back from the employer, which may cause a lapse in their care. So you'll want to pay attention to EFS mod as we are enrolling or updating those enrollments for the families from April 1st to June 30th. Now, if their referral started at a different time frame that is after April 1st, which would carry their referral, their 90 days past June 30th, they may or may not get renewed at this time. So right now we're focusing on the April 1st to June 30th referrals. And I will tell you, out of 577 applicants, that is a majority of them. There's probably 480 of them that fall into that category. So you're really going to want to pay attention to your enrollments. Again, the two reasons why we would not extend a family that was enrolled between April 1st for the referral period of April 1st to June 30th is the family didn't upload their documents, or the referral was not returned by the employer, which we have had some challenges with that. So we're doing the best that we can as far as getting everybody in. Talking along those same lines, we are still paying the bonuses out, maximum of 8 children per month, or $4,000 per month, with a maximum payout of $12,000 in your bonuses. And for parent co-pays, we are covering the co-pays for the months of June and July. August 1st, you need to be prepared, and I am telling every first responder parent that I talk to, as of August 1st, they need to be prepared to pay the differential fee that you charge, if you charge one, as well as their parent copay, which is on their certificate. So just like every other school readiness enrollment, you want to make sure the parents log back into EFS mod and accept the terms and conditions so that you can see their certificate and you can see what their assessed parent copay is. A lot of people have questioned why they need to submit their employment information as far as their pay stubs go, and that is because even though the family may be outside the threshold for the financial part of the school readiness program, for this particular program, we are bypassing the financial requirement. However, we're still using it to assess the parent fee, and oftentimes it'll be the highest fee, which is okay because it still provides some support for your family. Do you want to add something, Marcy?
I think what we're probably going to need to do is on next Tuesday's call, we will have some more detailed information in regards to this and send it out to you as well.
Yeah, I think we could probably put together something, even a bullet point, something that says this is the guidance that we have and this is how it'll impact you, because it's a lot to take in, and there's been a lot of changes, and there's been a lot of things a lot of moving parts to this. It's new for all of us. So we, again, appreciate your patience as we try to figure out how to tell you what we know.
And our directives are coming from the state level. So we also have meetings with the state every Friday, and those directives get updated based upon what the governor is doing for our state. So by this Friday, we may have new information updated, more detailed for you. I know that's a little frustrating but we will try to definitely address this on Tuesday's meeting to make sure that we get it as clear as possible for you.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, if somebody is going to end up being terminated, because yes, when you look at some of the certificates, it is showing their eligibility for a year, but their referral is only authorized, they're authorized for a year, but they're only eligible for the referral dates, which is 3 months.
Think of it in the same terms as you normally would for any other BG1 parent, for any other referral parent. It's along the same lines, only we don't get to give you a bonus for all the other BG1 parents. You get a bonus for this group. So stay tuned. We will try to clarify what you're looking at and what you're facing, but I can tell you, I field 90% of the calls for our first responders, and the conversation that I'm having with them directly is letting them know about the parent copays, that we're covering them for the months of June and July, and that they should expect to have a parent copay that they pay directly to you starting August 1st, as well as your differential, and that they should expect to pay the differential always. That's always an option for you to charge if you need to. There's something else I was going to add to that, but I can't remember. Oh, tomorrow we actually will be having a new person starting with us that is going to help us with the first responders so that we can hopefully get a lot of these new referrals processed quickly. 400 and plus something is a lot to renew at one time, which you know what we're facing. So we're going to work on that, and hopefully you'll see a quick turnaround on that. Do you have any other questions?
Not on that.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention one more thing. It is on your agenda at the very bottom, but I just wanted to kind of point it out. I know this was intended for school readiness contracts, but a lot of you are also providing VPK services. So just a quick reminder to please, if you have not yet done your improvement plan, to please go in and get that done. Again, it has to be not only completed and submitted, but it has to be approved at least 30 days prior to you providing your first day of a VPK class. So I think last time I used the example, if you plan to start your class on August 10th, then we need to have an approved plan by July 10th. So you all know when you're going to start your calendars this fall. But again, if you have not done it, please go in and do that. And if you need help, call our quality department. We'll be glad to help you out.
Don't forget your surveys. A lot of you have said, okay, what survey, where is it? There are 2 surveys. Well, one is a questionnaire, closure questionnaire, and it's under the survey tab on EFS Mod or the provider portal. On the left-hand side of your screen towards the bottom is the menu of, you have a whole menu of links right there. The very bottom one says surveys. If you click in there, if you were closed anytime in May, including May 1st, you should have a closure survey in there to complete. Now, one thing that we realize is that if you don't get to complete your survey in the first sitting while you're doing it, if you have to walk away from your computer for an extended period of time, you may need to contact us because it will go away. We may have to get it reset for you. I say may because we have to kind of look at each option individually. But just let us know if that happens to you, because the closure survey impacts payment. It does impact your payment. And we still have
9.
about 9, we still have 9 providers who haven't done it, which means your May payment, you may not get it. If you're wondering if you're one of those 9, please reach out to us. If you know that it went away and you need to complete it, please reach out to us, because we don't want you not to get paid because you didn't answer a couple questions. The second survey on there is about your registration fees. That is for OEL to collect data, something that we've talked about. Go ahead, Mercy's got it. Yeah, Mercy's got it. Mercy's got this.
So, registration fees. That survey needs to be completed. In order for me to be able to start processing registration fees for the year 1920, I need to have that survey completed. We are, I will start processing them in June, and depending on how all those pieces fit, because now OEL does have it out in the portal for us to be able to move these forward. And they have authorized us to actually pay these registration fees, and this past year will not be included in the count of 2 that you can receive within a 5-year period. So very, very important. We need to make sure that you complete that survey for the registration fees right away. A reminder on the closed questionnaire, it is not going to be available after, I think, today. We had 2 days to, you guys were supposed to complete it by yesterday, and we actually have until tomorrow till it will disappear from your screen. Once we have that 2-day gap, so after tomorrow you won't get it, OEL will then review all of the answers to that and then send questions back to the coalitions as to if they have any questions on the surveys. So they won't contact you directly and say, yep, everything's good. They're going to contact us with any questions. And if we don't know that you're having difficulty with it or anything else, then we can't speak up for you. So please, because we did have 2 or 3 providers last month that did have difficulty with it. I was able to put in tickets for it. We had all the documentations that showed, hey, we've had them do it this way, and everything went through just fine. So if you are having technical difficulties, send that email out to effmod@elc-marion.org. If you are questioning whether or not you've done the survey and you don't see the link there, then you need to get a hold of quality for that.
We're just looking to see if there's any feedback or questions right now.
And remember, you will only see that if you were closed at least 1 day in the month of May. Okay, for the mini grants, do we have to keep receipts for what we are spending?
No, you do not. There's no requirement to keep any receipts for your expenses.
Okay. 2 questions about the survey that they have. What surveys are we referring to? One is a registration fee survey. It's going to ask some simple questions. Did you collect registration fees in full, in part, throughout the year? The other one is if you were closed in May, that is your closed payment or closed questionnaire survey. The surveys are found when you log in, you go directly to your dashboard. If you have not completed these surveys yet, you will probably receive a pop-up screen automatically to remind you to do these surveys. But on your main dashboard screen, if you look all the way to your left-hand side, down at the bottom, it will say surveys and questionnaires, and it'll have 2 links. If you know where to go to manage your users, or it says your contracts there on the left-hand side of that screen, it's underneath those. Click on that and it'll bring the survey up for you. There are some questions on here that we're going to need to just reach out individually, because I think there's just some individual questions that I need more information to be able to answer. But other than that, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I think that's all I have.
All right, that's all we have. Please, if you haven't signed your electronic Contract extension, review it. If you have questions about the contract extension before signing it, we're happy to work with you. I did get one email from somebody who said they didn't have it yet, so I think Scott already knows, as we're sitting here looking at email while we're on the call. Our next meeting will be held next Tuesday on the 30th at 1 p.m. If you've already registered in the past for our regularly scheduled meetings, then you are already registered for that one. You don't have to do anything except join us on that day. Later this week, we will probably send out the agenda and an update on COVID-19 if we have one. As always, we are grateful for you, and there's more to come. Have a great afternoon, everybody.